So sorry for the interruption. I forgot that in order to turn off notifications, I have to turn off the stream. So let's get back to this. Um, we know that we have a loadout, starting equipment loadout. If there's notifications in the stream, we're just gonna have to deal with it. It's fine. Um, so 11 and 4. So we got a musket, we got a bayonet, which does D6. And here's the interesting part. We start with a mutt with telepathic link. Interesting. All right. So that is our one character. Let's get this guy a name. Now, Into the Odd also provides this handy dandy, I guess, appendix in the back, full of all kinds of things for DMs to come up with on the spot. And one of them is a name generator. So let's get our percentage dice out. Let's roll this shit up. We got a 13. This character's first name is either Doran or Dorit. Let's on an odd we get the first. Even. Dorit. So this character's name, first name, is Dorit. And let's get their surname. "44. Dorit Cross." Alright. And that's our first character. So as you can see, one character is made super fast, super easy. We're going to put this guy over here, and we're going to make another one. We're going to start always with 2 guys in our solo role plays. At least 2 guys minimum. We'll get this set up again. And let's roll these stats up. So we'll get these 4 dice. We'll roll them up. That is it. The worst roll I've seen in a while. Was that 5? My goodness. All right. Strength of 5. Let's do it in pencil, because we're going to race shit. 5 slash. Let's get another roll. Let's see. That looks like 11. And the last one. That looks like 7, 8. Okay. Let's roll HP for this misfortunate person. 5, okay. It's a little beefier. So now let's get their starting package. Let's look into the odd. And our highest attribute is 11, and our HP is 5. So if we look around 11 to the 5, we start with a machete. Machete does D6 damage. We start with a brace of pistols. Brace of pistols does D8 damage, and it's bulky. We have a talking parrot. And we also never sleep. Okay. What an odd person this is. Let's get a name for this guy, for this never sleeping street urchin. Alright. We'll get our percentage dice out. That looks like an 82. So Samford or Sambay. On an odd, it's the first one. Even. So this is Sambay. And now we'll get their surname. That looks like a 10. Sanbei Creed. So there you have it. We have our two characters ready. Dort Cross and Sanbei Creed. Now we need a little bit more than that. So I'm going to actually use this supplement called D30 DM Companion. We're going to go over to the motivations page. We're going to roll this D30. And that looks like a 20. So our first character, Dort Cross, is driven to gain reputation. Let's put that next to their name. This will help me figure out what they would do when it's not apparent what I, the player, the DM, would do. Driven to gain reputation. So that might mean that he wants to make a name for himself, he wants to be renowned, he wants to be famous for something or other. Alright, let's open up the D30 Companion again. Let's roll this again for our second character. That looks like a 6 to me. And Sanbei Creed is driven by duty to a family member. So already I have an idea of what these two characters might be like. I imagine Dort to be much more ambitious, much more risk-taking, more willing to do dangerous things in the name of glory. Whereas Sanbei Creed might be a little bit more hesitant to do those kinds of things unless it directly results in gain for his family. I'm going to say Sanbei Creed has a sick family. He's got a wife and kids that are currently being taken care of by a big industrialized hospital. And he can't afford the bills. So he's being forced to do all kinds of unscrupulous things in order to get the money to do that. So that's Sanbei Creed, of the Creed family. And Dort Cross is a younger guy. Let's see. On an odd, this is a male. I don't know if even it's a female. Dort is a female. Dort Cross, she's tired of being looked down on. She's tired of people talking crappy to her and treating her poorly. She wants to be known in Bastion. And she's willing to do just about anything to get that reputation. So there we go. Those are our characters. And those are the characters that we're going to have exploring our world of Into the Odd. Our odd world, as it were. So, let's take a look at what else we got here. We won't be needing this for a while. We'll just keep that off to the side. We're using the sandbox generator to create the world as we explore it. We're using these D30 companions whenever we need to come up with ideas. I also have at my disposal Tome of Adventure Design by Frog God Games. This is a really impressively useful book. I've owned it for a while, mostly for creating adventures, but I thought it might come up with some great answers today. A lot of other solo roleplay content creators also applaud and praise that book. So if you, as a curious individual, find yourself wanting to either do your own solo roleplay or even just make adventure content and find yourself stuck, I highly recommend checking out Tome of Adventure Design. Really great book. A lot of other people have said great things about it, and I generally stand by it. So we need something for these two guys to do. We need some kind of starting point, and I think to do that, we're going to look through the D30 Sandbox Companion. Let's go look at adventure generation table. So we'll take this D30. We'll get this little hex dice tray, and we're just going to toss it here and look at the first column. So number 3 on the first column, the trigger is an apparition. So let's write that down. That means some kind of ghostly thing appeared in the town of Bastion, and our 2 characters saw it. Let's roll again, and this time we're going to check the second column, major goal, 22. So let's see. A murder or a death happened, so solve mystery. We should probably get something else. So now, from what I'm seeing here, something ghostly happened in the town of Bastion, and our 2 characters, Sambe and Dorit, saw this apparition, and it was what looked like a murder that took place. Let's get one more thing. We'll get a location. 14. Hamlet. So it's another town. Now, what I know about the Into the Odd World is that Bastion is the single biggest town in the world. It's kind of like the mega city of the world, and other towns that exist in the deep woods, the deep wild. So that must mean that whatever happened in another town is far, far away. Now, why do our 2 characters care about this? What is so important about this that they want to do it? Let's go back to the DM companion. Why are they getting involved? What is it about this that might... Rather, the Sandbox companion. What is it about this apparition that they'd want, or they'd want to get involved in? Let's see. Well, let's go for the location feature. Since we can't figure out why they want to get involved, let's keep fleshing that out a little bit. Let's go here. 25. Statuary. What is a statuary? Location feature. I'm just going to write down statues. So somewhere in another hamlet in the deep wilds in this odd world, a murder took place, and the thing that stood out to Dort Cross and Sambe Creed were these statues. Now, why did these statues stand out? Let's see if we can figure out some more about this theme. 20. Madness theme. I think there's our hook. That's the easiest thing to do. Alright. When Sambe Creed and Dort Cross saw the murder take place, this ghastly, ghostly vision, and they saw these statues, they were driven with this kind of insatiable curiosity to go find it. They can't seem to resist it. In effect, the statues in that vision, in this ghostly vision, have charmed them to the point that they're going to go out and try to find what happened. They can't resist it. And little known to them, I'll say that this apparition happened all over Bastion. And there was a number of people who've been driven out of Bastion to try and find what's happening. It's a madness that has swept Bastion. And maybe people are talking about it. Have you heard of this ghostly vision? Anyone who's seen it seems to just go out into the world trying to seek it out, and they never come back. That works. That's appropriately spooky, even if it doesn't make a ton of sense. Cheers. But more importantly, it gives our characters a motivation to go out, along with the possibility of running into other characters who are doing the same thing. It might be in opposition to them. So, we have an idea of what they want to do. They want to go out into the deep wilds of this odd world, find this hamlet where murder took place and these statues. And that's enough for us to start our adventure. We're going to take out a fresh sheet, graph paper. I said fresh, not previously doodled on. I'm just going to put that over here. Pretend we never even saw it. Let's go back over here. Right? And we'll flip the page. And we'll stick this right here. Let's put Bastion on this map. Let's draw that out. Now, I could pick a spot strategically to put Bastion, or we could let the dice decide for us where Bastion is. And I think that sounds a lot more fun. Oh wait, I lied. I have a specially prepared piece of paper for this. I don't need no stinking hex paper. We got some official paper. We'll call this the Odd World. Now, you'll see we've got 13 hexes possible, or 13 rows, and we have seven columns, 13 rows. So if I roll a d12 and a d10, that should give me an approximate location of where to put Bastion. So we got a 3, C, and we have an 8. Bastion's right here. Let's stick that sucker in. Now we know Bastion is a great city, so we're going to have to make it a big city. And let's make a note of that. We'll put that here in our binder. We're going to keep track of everything in our binder. And anything that's interesting besides Bastion, we'll put here. So, hex C8. And that is Bastion. And that's where our players are going to start. That's where our characters are going to start this game. So let's get Dort Cross. And let's get Sambe Creed. And they are being driven by this insatiable urge to find this hamlet in the deep woods, in the deep wilds. So first thing we're going to need to do is figure out what kind of terrain Bastion is on. Now, we could use our sandbox generator, and I think we will use our sandbox generator. So let's put these here. Let's get sandbox generator out. And we're going to roll for the starting hex, which is a 10, D10. A 2 means that Bastion is built on grasslands. So let's put grasslands on our little map here. And we'll say that Bastion is grasslands. We need to give a scale to this hex map. So let's say 1 hex is equal to 3 miles. Into the Odd doesn't provide rules for movement or overland travel or anything like that. It's more concerned with keeping the game kind of abstract. But for my taste, I need to have precision distance and measurements. So because of that, I'm going to be saying that if each hex is 3 miles, that traveling through a hex that is not difficult terrain takes 1 hour. And that is a non-forced march. That's just an easy, even pace. If they travel through terrain that's difficult, like forest or hills, that takes 50% longer, so 1.5 hours. And if they travel through extreme terrain, which I'm going to define as swamps, mountains, and rivers, that makes the travel time 100% more. So going through forests and hills will make the time required 50% higher. And going through marsh and mountains will make it 100% more, so 2 hours. And I'll say a river is just difficult terrain. That's going to be 50%. All right. Now, is there water cutting through Bastion? Most towns are built through a water system. That's just the way civilization works. So let's take this D6 and let's roll it. And starting at the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Our river comes from this direction. And we're going to roll it again. And it goes through here. Bastion is built on this river bend. Let's get a little token here as a representation of our party. That way we can keep track of them easily. So a little guy right there. So our adventure starts at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. And they need to pick a direction. They don't know where they're going. So we'll let the dice decide what direction they're going to run off in and try and find this hamlet. So we'll roll the dice again. And starting from the top, 1, 2, 3. They're traveling southeast. Travel southeast. We have to figure out what's in that hex. So let's take out sandbox generator. Let's go here. So our next hex is also D10. 5. Same as previous hex. It's also grasslands. So let's get... I'm just going to have to toss these little colored fine liners over here. We'll get this thing. Grasslands. Let's see. Let's go back here. And now we know we have to figure out what the feature is there. So we'll roll a d6. A 6 means there's a dungeon there. Jesus fuck.
Okay, the very first thing they find, 3 miles away from town in the grasslands, is the entrance to a dungeon.
So that is D9. So we've already decided travel from into a easy hex, which I'm defining as grass and pretty much just grass and roads. Roads make any travel, any hex easy, I'm gonna say. So 9 a.m. We've got a dungeon discovered. Dungeon. We have to roll now for an encounter. Into the odds says a 1 is a monster encounter, or just an encounter, and 2 is clues of an encounter. So that looks like it didn't count. Let's roll again. Nothing. No encounter. We're safe. It's not going to be water there. We're going to roll D6, and on a 1, there's a new water source there. No water. Okay. So we move here. Do our characters go into the dungeon? Well, we know that they're driven to find this hamlet, and this dungeon is a distraction from that. So no, they do not go into there. Both of them look at each other, and they know they're not going to find the murder in that dungeon. They have to find this damn city, this damn town, this hamlet. So they continue on their journey. Let's roll a d6 to see where they're going. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to ignore that because that goes right back to Bastion. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They go over here. Sure. Let's get the sandbox generator. We'll roll a d10. Whoops. Let's see. Here's our d10. 7. Forced. Let's get this over here. We know that travel into a forest takes 50% longer, so it's now 10:30 a.m. That was hex D9. Let's do that. Hex D9. That leads them to a forest. I should really write the hex immediately after the time. Hex C10. Let's figure out what's there. We'll take sandbox generator again. We'll go over here. Here we go. We'll roll a d6. It's a landmark. Okay. Let's go figure out what kind of landmark it is. We'll roll a d6. And another d6. Our first one's going to be a magic landmark, and it's an empty square. There's no hazard, there's no monster, there's nothing there. Let's go look at magic landmark. What is that about? We'll roll a d6 and a d10. 6. Strange phenomenon. 1. Ever melting ice. What on earth? Okay. And we have to go here. Let's put that they find magic phenomenon. Ever melting ice. Let's put this on the map here. We'll put a little cube here. That's an odd thing to find. Is there an encounter? On a 1, there's an encounter. On clues, on 2, there's a clue of an encounter. 1, there's an encounter. Okay. Encounter. Let's use sandbox generator to figure out what that encounter is. So we'll roll 2d6. We'll get 2 dice. That looks like an 11. And 11 is a biome. So where are we? We're in the forest? Alright. Let's go look. And we'll roll this again. You know what? Let's use Into the Odd to create something. Sandbox generator sticks to standard fantasy, but I'm not playing a standard fantasy game. I'm playing an Into the Odd game. So let's look for weird creature inspiration right here. So we're going to need our percentage dice. And the nature of this creature is 30. Living rock. Okay, so our first thing, living rock. Let's roll again for its form. That's an 8. A swarm of living rock. Living rock swarm. I'm almost imagining like this cloud of pebbles that are sentient, almost like an elemental. Something strange like that. Let's roll a twist for what it might be. 94. Launch explosives. That's terrible. Okay. So let's start making an encounter table on our map here. And typically an encounter table should have, I would say, 6 entries. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's assign this rock swarm to 4. We'll call them exploding rock swarm. So I'm imagining this cloud of small little intelligent pebbles, and if they smash into anything, they cause a big explosion. It's almost like a it's not even an elemental, I guess. It's more like a weird, like a magic phenomenon, almost like a tsunami or something. Okay. So let's define what this rock swarm does. I'm going to say that the only thing that it really does is if it contacts, it does a blast. D6 blast. And we'll say that it has... Ooh, that's way too many blasts. Should I just keep that? There's a possibility of up to 6 blasts. Up to 6 blasts in one swarm. Alright, so that's our encounter. And that's what Dort Cross and Sambay Creed are both going to face today. I don't think I'm going to need this. Let's put this over here. And let's move things a little bit so we have more room. I think that works. Can you see that? Can you guys see that? If my setup isn't so great, please let me know in the comments of this video. And if you're enjoying it, please let me know in the comments of this video. So they encounter one rock swarm, and we have to figure out how many blasts this swarm has. We're going to roll a d6. 5 blasts. This is very bad.
Um, let's get representations of our characters here. We'll say that the positioning isn't too important, but the turn order is. Here are our two characters, and here is the swarm. Now, unless surprised, or there's a chance for surprise, we're going to say that our characters go first. Well, rather, that's how it is in Into the Odd. Unless they're surprised, player characters go before monsters. A living rock swarm doesn't sound like something they'd have an opportunity to see ahead of time. So there may be a chance they're surprised. Let's roll against their dexterity to see if they're surprised or not. The clear one is for Dirt Cross. Now, Into the Odd, rolling underneath your stat, or equal to it, is a success. Both our characters succeed with a 1 and a 3. So they're going before this rock swarm. Let's give our rock swarm some sort of HP. We're going to roll 2d6 for this. 7. So, where did I put my pencil? I'll start over here. Rock swarm has 7 HP. So our first character goes first, which is Dort. Dort takes a blast with the musket. There is no roll to hit in Into the Odd. You simply do damage, which makes this game both very fast but also very lethal. You have to make decisions about when to stay and when to flee as soon as you think things are going bad. And this swarm having 5 blasts doesn't seem so great unless they can kill it right off the bat. 6 points of damage to the rock swarm. Oh my goodness. It only has 7 HP, so we know it's almost dead. Sambe Creed goes next with the brace of pistols, another d8. 3 points of damage. That annihilates the rock swarm. Okay. Our two characters are not surprised by the rock swarm and dispatch it quickly with a series of musket blasts and pistol shots. And they survive that encounter with the rock swarm. That was interesting. So now we have 1 entry into our monster table, wandering monster table, encounter table, and we have an idea of the types of things that might inhabit this odd world. And one of them is strange, living, self-exploding rocks. That's very interesting. No sign of this hamlet yet. And what's this ever-melting ice about? Let's say our two characters go up and check it out. It's probably really big, or else how would they have even spotted it from so far away? Let's see. Now, maybe Sambe Creed thinks he might take some of this ever-melting ice with him. It sounds interesting. He's going to try a strength check to avoid hurting himself gathering the ever-melting ice. In this game, you do not roll to succeed. You roll to avoid some harmful effect. So Sambe Creed is collecting the ever-melting ice, and we're going to roll a dexterity check to make sure he doesn't hurt himself while he's collecting this ice. If he fails, he ends up slipping and hurting himself. So, D20, underneath, 11 or under. 19, no. He slips and falls on his back, and he takes D4 damage. Or we'll just make him have a sprain, actually. We can do that instead. I'm going to put this little token on Sambe Creed, and until he gets a night's sleep, he's at -1 to things because he sprained his back. That seems better than falling down and taking damage. That seems arbitrary. Alright, our characters have to continue moving and exploring now. So, let's roll this d6. And starting from the top of the map, 1, 2, 3. So, They're moving to... Oh, from there they went southwest. Let's write that. Travel southwest. And now they're traveling southeast. They defeated the rock swarm, by the way. Defeated rock swarm. Now they're traveling south east. Let's figure out what is southeast from where they currently are. Let's get this sandbox generator out. Let's look at starting hex and next hex. So our D10 comes into play. 2. Same as previous hex, which is forests. So we know that travel through a difficult hex takes 50% more time. So it would be 11:30, now it's 12 p.m. p.m. and that is hex D11. And that's a forest. Let's write that down. I should write down what each of these things is. Grasslands. This is a forest. This is also a forest. It's a little disjointed, but we'll get the hang of it when we do this a little bit more. Let's get sandbox generator out. Let's figure out what is in this hex. Here we go. We'll get that D6. That one doesn't count because it landed on the floor. The 6 is another dungeon. That's bullshit. Why are there so many dungeons surrounding Bastion? And the answer is definitely because this is the great underground that surrounds all of the world. Dungeon. Let's keep that. D11. Now, are these two connected? On a 1 or a 2, they are connected. These are not connected. These are separate entities. These are 2 separate dungeons. So we'll put that here. And we already know neither of them are going to go into a dungeon right off the bat. They're obsessed with finding this hamlet. Let's see if there's an encounter. On a 1, there's an encounter. On 2, there is signs of an encounter. Nothing. They're clear. So, you have to decide where to go. Let's roll our D6 again. And they're continuing, 1, 2, 3, in that direction. So that is travel south, east. Let's see where they arrive. We'll get out handy dandy sandbox generator. We're going to get the D10. Mountains. Oh Lord. So in this hex, there are mountains. And we know that mountains we define as an extreme hex, which means it takes 100% more time. So rather than it being 1 hour, 1 p.m., or an hour and a half, 1:30, they arrive in those mountains at 2 p.m. And that is hex E12. What is in this hex? Let's roll that. Let's take a look at our book. And a 2 is a landmark. Okay. We're going to find landmarks. We're going to roll a D6 and a D6. We'll do 3, which is a natural landmark. And there are monsters here. Uh-oh. It's not an encounter, though. We just know that monsters live here. Let's go look at natural landmark. We'll roll a d6 and a d10. 3, 6. So 3, and then 6. A rock hole. We'll write down that we found mountains here. Let's write it in the color of the terrain. Mountains and rock hole. And we'll say also monster lair. We have to make a mark of this. Rock hole. We'll put it up here because it's higher up. It's not a cave, it's a rock hole. It's a funny thing to say. Is there an encounter? No encounter. So at 2 p.m., Dort Cross and Sandbay Creed find themselves traveling over mountains. And they come across this mysterious hole in the mountains. And they realize there's awful smells and the signs of, let's say, corpses, like bones and rotted meats, the signs of things that have been eaten alive here. And they both decide, you know what, I don't really want to be here. Let's get the fuck out. So that's what they're going to do. We roll another d6, and 6 gets them back that way, back into the forest. So I'm just going to GM Fiat and say they're going north. Because I can do that. And we are going to take a d10, a date, and let's see what an 8 is. 8 is hills. Okay. We'll put some hills here. That's not too surprising. There are mountains right there. Let's figure out if there is something in the hills. A 5. What's a 5? What landmark is a 5? A lair. Okay. Let's put that down. E12, we'll say that's a rock hole. There are monsters in the rock hole. E12, rock hole, hole. And our next one, E10. So since it's a lair, it's a known thing. Let's roll up something from Sandbox Generator. And it's hills. So we'll roll 2d6. What is that? It's an 11. And in the hills, oh shit, the lair of giants. Alright, on a 1 or a 2, they are not outside. On anything else, they're outside, patrolling around their lair. They're outside, patrolling around their lair. How many giants are there? There's 5 giants. They're going to immediately get the hell out of there. They don't even want to deal with the possibility of an encounter. 1, 2. They're running. Let's keep track of what we were doing here. So, from E12 to E10 is difficult terrain. So we'll say it's an hour and a half. So 3:30 p.m. We're in Hex E10. We know that there are hills, and it's the lair of giants. Giant lair. 5 of them. And we know we flee immediately. We choose to flee, these 2 guys. They're not dealing with it. Flee. And they're running towards the northeast. Flee to northeast. east. All right, let's get back our sandbox here, sandbox generator. We're gonna go to what the next biome is. 6 grasslands, pleasant. We know that travel to easy terrain only takes an hour, so it is now 4:30 p.m. And this is hex F9. Let's see what's in here. Let's roll. We know it's grassland. Okay, let's take a look at Hexbox Generator. A 2 is a landmark. Okay, so we're going to get out our 2d6s. The big one is always going to be the first one. So 4, an artificial landmark, and a 6, there's monsters here. So let's go look at artificial landmark. Let's roll a d6 and a d10. Our 6 is a travel landmark, and 2 is a boundary stone. What is a boundary stone? My immediate thought is that in this hex, I gotta draw this layer over here, this giant layer. Let's just put a smiley face with devil horns. That's a layer. Boundary stones. I imagine like a outline of territory being made with these rocks that have been piled up on each other to know that this is unwelcome territory. You're not welcome here. So let's get this gray color. Let's roll a d6 to figure out where it starts. 1 at the top. So we'll put like this, right to the middle. 2. The boundary stones mark off the northeast side of this hex. Our characters need to figure out if there's an encounter here. Nothing here. So they're going to continue traveling. Where are they traveling to? A 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're not going to go back. So let's roll again. 6. We'll take that. So, travel north, west. Let's see. I know a D10 is for generating the next next biome, and it's going to be the same as the previous hex, which is grasslands. Let's put grasslands here. We know that travel through easy hex is 1 hour, so we're at 5:30 p.m. and this is hex E8. Hex E8. Alright, let's roll a d6 to see what kind of thing is here. A 5. I think a 5 is a dungeon. Or a lair. There's been a lot of lairs recently. I'm going to re-roll 2. We'll take a landmark. Landmark seems good. So again, we'll roll the big one and the small one. The big one will always be the first d6. 3 and 2. So it's a natural landmark and it's empty. What is the natural landmark? 2. A geological landmark. 8. Mud pit. So we'll write down here, this is grasslands with a mud pit. and it's empty, they say. Let's look at how it's empty. There's a table for generating what might be there. Empty. So we roll a d20. I think that's a 7, right? Yeah, it's a 7. So 7, is there some kind of curative effect here? The mud pit. All right. We'll put this here in blue. That's interesting. Let's put that down. E8. E8. Soothing. Mud pit. I'm going to say the soothing mud pit removes status ailments. That's something that I decided just now. It has nothing to do with Sanbei Creed being achy and could possibly use a nice relaxing mud pit. Heavens, no. No way. So let's say they stop here and rest. And they're going to rest. A short rest in this game is defined as like a couple of minutes. I'm going to say it's 10 minutes. So let's write short rest. And we'll write 10 minutes. Into the Odd doesn't care. It's not an exact determined amount of time. I do care. And it makes it easy to track how much time has gone past. So 10 minutes go by. We're going to remove this achy status from him, from having sprained his back. And he's okay now. We'll say that that's enough time, though, for an encounter roll. Nothing. He's fine. At 5:40... p.m. they decide to keep traveling. Let's roll a thing. Oh, I don't think I rolled an encounter. Did I? No encounter. Okay. What direction are they going in? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would bring them back down south. That's silly. 3. 1, 2, 3. Back there? No. So I'm just going to say that if it's odd, he's going to the northeast, and if it's even, he's going to go to the northwest. So let's do that. Even. Northwest. So we'll get our pencil. Travel. Northwest. Let's get the D10. A 3. I think a 3 is previous terrain, right? Yeah. Same as previous hex, which is more grassland. So now it's 6:30. They're in hex D7. And they're in grasslands. Let's see what they find. Let's roll the D6. I think that's a dungeon. Pretty sure it's a dungeon. Let's see. That's a dungeon. I'm re-rolling because there's a bunch in that area. A 2 is a landmark. I'll take a 2. Let's roll these 2. The big one is the first one. 3, which is a natural landmark, and it's an empty one. 4 and 5. 4, 5. Exotic tree. So let's put a tree here in this grass right here. We'll put this. We'll put a tree, and then we'll make it all like that to show that it's exotic. Grasslands and exotic tree. Something they've never seen before. It's an empty hex, so let's see what is here. Empty. We'll get the D20. 5. Info about nearby monsters. Something here is going to give us information. 1 is a clue left by the monsters. Ooh, there's scorch marks on the ground on the exotic tree. Scorch marks on exotic tree. So we know that this exotic tree here has blast marks on it as though something exploded. I don't know, something like this exploding rock swarm. So that is interesting to know. Is there an encounter here? There is no encounter. Okay. So we got to figure out if they're going to continue going or if they're going to rest for the night. Dirt Cross, of course, wants to keep going. Sanbei thinks maybe it's best to try and find some place to camp, maybe even go back to Bastion. They get into an argument. Let's see whose will is listened to here. The clear is for Dort Cross. Neither of them. They spend time arguing and they're getting nowhere, and time passes. Let's see. Party argues. We'll say 10 minutes. That's enough for a wandering monster check. Clues left by monsters. Something's closing in. We're going to say that they start to hear the sounds of buzzing as though something might be nearby and decide they need to get moving. There's no time really to argue. A 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they go back to Bastion. They go back to Bastion. So 7:30 p.m. and they're in Hex C8. Return to Bastion. Sanbei Creed and Dirt Cross get into an argument. Dirt Cross thinks they could have explored a lot more. They didn't get anything done. They didn't find what they set out to look for. They didn't find the hamlet. They're still no closer to understanding what's going on. Sanbei Creed thinks that it's a long day and traveling at night would just get them killed. It's smarter to rest and resupply and go out tomorrow. They get into an argument again. A clear one is for Dirt Cross. We're challenging wills here. If someone fails their will, they are leaving this party. They decide that they're not going to stay together. If both of them succeed, then they stay together. They come to a mutual agreement. Dirt Cross thinks that she's not going to be able to succeed at finding this hamlet on her own, and she doesn't want to give up on it. Her glory's out there some way. And Sanbei Creed knows he's not going to be able to pay those medical bills if he dies out there by himself. At the very least, if there's someone with him, they could bring his body back and his family would know what happened. So they're going to stay together and work together. You know what? That'll be the end of this session today. We didn't find the hamlet, but we did discover a lot of potential things on the map. There's this curious ever-melting ice. I got to figure out what that does. There's these 2 dungeons. There's the giant lair. There's this rock hole with monsters, potential monsters. We don't know what's there yet. And this boundary right here is curious. We'll have to explore all of that next time in further detail. But for now, I'm going to end this session. We'll continue, hopefully, next week. Until then, guys, have a good night, and I'll catch up with you soon.